This is it. Canada entry permit approved. The Canada entry permit seems to be one of those things that cause an awful lot of confusion amongst PCT hikers, ourselves included. So now that we've successfully gone through the process of getting ours, we thought we'd make a quick video on the sort of what, whys and hows of getting your Canada entry permit. The place to start really is the PCTA website, where under Discovering Trails you will find a column called Permits. On that site you find the Canada PCT entry permit. If you're going northbound, the PCT officially ends on the northern terminus, which is on the US side of the US-Canada border. So there is no need to enter Canada in order to finish the PCT. The reason why people choose to go into Canada is where the trail actually ends is in the middle of nowhere, it's in the woods. At this point you have two options. You can either enter Canada and walk for another 8 miles to Manning Park Lodge, where you can usually secure transportation into Vancouver. The other option, if you don't go into Canada, is to backtrack from the northern terminus back to Harts Pass, which is the last time you've touched a road on the way up to the northern terminus. This is about 35 miles of backtracking. The PCT entrance point to Canada is an unmanned border, which you are only allowed to cross from the US into Canada with the Canada entry permit. It is not allowed to cross it from Canada back into the US. The US does not recognize this border as a legal entry point. The permit has to be applied for, they say, at least 8 to 10 weeks before the start of your hike and no further in advance than 6 months. Now the start of a hike is, in fact, they do mean the start of your PCT hike, not the date when you think you're gonna cross the border. And all you really have to do is fill in the application form, to which the PCTA site provides a link. The form itself is quite straightforward. It just asks, basic details like your names, birth date, place of birth, country of birth, appearance. That sometimes causes some confusion. What they basically want to know is what racial type you are. Eye color, hair color, height, weight, where you come from, your passport number, your social security number if you have one. Your address for the last 5 years, addresses if applicable, and whether you have any kind of convictions. It also wants to know what money you will have on entering Canada. People get a bit hung up on that and say, oh my God, I don't know how much money I will have. I mean, all the Canadians want to know is that you come into the country and you have the funds to leave the country again. So, nobody actually checks your wallet on entering Canada. And then part C is just a list of all the documents you need to include, which is a valid passport, a valid driving license, and a Canadian permanent resident card or US resident alien card if applicable. So it's really not that difficult a form to fill in. It's that the difficulty is that they want it signed in ink. So you have to kind of print it out, fill it in, sign it, then scan the form back in to send back to them, because otherwise you can't get your actual handwritten signature on it. The form has to be submitted as a PDF, and they won't accept photos that you might have taken with your smartphone of it. It has to be a PDF file. I think some of the most common mistakes people make is that they don't necessarily scan their documents at a high enough resolution. It states clearly it has to be between 400 and 500 dpi, and it has to be 100%. So that means not it fills the page, but your scanned document has to be the exact same size it would be if they held the originals. Other popular mistakes include not filling it in uppercase, capital letters, and probably for our American friends, the fact that when they ask for dates, they want them in the day, month, year format, not the month, day, year format, which is common in the US. Once you filled in your form, you just sign and date it, scan it back in, attach all your scanned documents, and email it back to the email address at the top of the form. So that's it. We send off our permit applications on a Monday, and I think it was approved by the Wednesday. So they can be quite quick, but don't panic if they're not responding that quickly. They do get flooded with forms all the time. One thing I would say is that I found them very, very helpful. So if you have any questions about if anything in the form you don't understand, don't just second guess and send in a form that they will then return. Just send them an email and ask.